Viewer discretion is advised. Max's hands gripped the steering wheel as he navigated the desolate streets on the outskirts of Houston. The directions to the mysterious old house were vague, and the caller had declined to identify themselves, leaving Max with an uneasy feeling in the pit of his stomach. The voice on the other end had been strangely monotone, lacking any discernible emotion. The address led him to a decrepit mansion, its once grand facade now weathered and cracked. The moon hung low in the sky, casting an eerie glow on the imposing structure. Max hesitated for a moment before grabbing his toolkit and stepping out of his bed. The air was thick with an unsettling stillness as he approached the front door. He raised his hand to knock, but the door creaked open before his knuckles made contact. The dim light from his flashlight revealed a deserted foyer with dust-covered furniture. Max called out, his voice echoing through the empty hall. No response. The silence pressed on him as he moved further into the house, the floorboards groaning beneath his weight. His flashlight flickered, casting long shadows on the peeling wallpaper. Max shook it, hoping for a more reliable beam, but the darkness seemed to swallow the feeble light. As he reached the heart of the mansion, a sudden gust of wind slammed the door shut behind him, the echoing bang resonating through the empty rooms. Max turned to find the door jammed, resisting all attempts to open it again. A shiver crawled down his spine, but he dismissed it as an old house's quirk. Focusing on the task at hand, Max made his way to the basement, where the electrical panel was located. The narrow staircase seemed to stretch endlessly into the darkness below. Each step echoed in the silence, a haunting cadence that matched the racing beat of his heart. The basement was colder than the rest of the house, and Max could see his breath as he approached the electrical panel. As he worked, the temperature seemed to drop further, and an ominous feeling settled over him. He heard distant whispers, indistinct but unsettling. Suddenly, a crash echoed through the basement, and Max whipped around, his flashlight revealing a toppled stack of old boxes. He cursed under his breath, his nerves on edge. The walls seemed to close in on him as he fumbled with the wires. Footsteps echoed from the floor above, but there was no logical explanation for it. The house had been empty when he arrived. Max hesitated, his eyes scanning the darkness around him.
Is someone there?
He called out, his voice trembling. No response. The basement seemed to expand and contract, its shadows dancing in an otherworldly rhythm. Max pressed on, determined to finish the job and escape the suffocating atmosphere of the house. As he ascended the stairs, the whispers grew louder, morphing into haunting melodies that clawed at his sanity. The air felt charged with an unnatural energy, and Max's breath caught in his throat. He stumbled into a room that appeared to be a long-forgotten library, its shelves lined with dusty books. The pages rustled, though there was no wind. Max's eyes widened as the books levitated, swirling around him in a spectral dance. Panic gripped him, and he stumbled backward, his heart racing. The whispers became distinct voices, each one a tortured soul pleading for release. In a desperate attempt to escape, Max retraced his steps through the twisting corridors. The walls seemed to breathe, pulsating with a malevolent force. The house itself appeared to be alive, feeding on his fear. As Max reached the foyer, the front doors swung open with a deafening creak. He sprinted toward the exit, the once still air now a tempest of ghostly whispers and dissonant voices. The shadows seemed to reach for him, clawing at his sanity. Just as Max reached the threshold, the door slammed shut behind him, trapping him in a pitch-black void. He pounded on the door, his screams swallowed by the oppressive darkness. The voices crescendoed, a cacophony of despair that drowned out his pleas. And then silence. the door swung open, revealing the moonlit night. Max's flashlight lay on the floor, its beam extinguished. The old mansion stood silent, as if absorbing the echoes of the torment it had unleashed. Days passed and Max never returned. The police investigated the abandoned mansion, finding his van parked outside. The electrical panel in the basement was fixed, but Max was nowhere to be found. No trace of his presence remained in the haunted house. Rumors circulated about the mysterious disappearance, but no one dared to enter the old mansion. It stood as a silent sentinel, its secrets buried within its walls. Max's fate remained a chilling enigma, a cautionary tale for those who dared to venture into the unknown. And so the house at the edge of Houston stood, its windows dark, its secrets untouched, and the memory of Max fading into the realm of the unexplained.